Hello plant friends, welcome back to the Plant Prince PH. Today, I am really excited to share something close to my heart, my very own collection of Astrophytum cacti. These incredible plants have been a passion of mine for years, and I cannot wait to take you on a personal tour. I have spent countless hours caring for these amazing plants, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through each one. From the classic Astrophytum asterias to the rare and stunning cultivars and varieties. I will be showing you some of my personal favorites, explaining what makes them unique, and sharing tips on how to care for them. You will also learn why these cacti are a must-have for any collection. So, if you are an Astrophytum lover like me, you are in for a real treat today. Let's get started. This is an Astrophytum asterias. It is also known as sand dollar cactus, sea urchin cactus, or star cactus. It is a species of cactus native to Texas and Mexico. It is a small round cactus that lacks spines and instead has round tufts of hair or trichomes. These specks give the Astrophytum asterias its unique form and pattern. Its stem is typically divided by very narrow but distinct vertical furrows into 8 ribs. However, in cultivation, it can have between 5 and 13 ribs and can form different shapes and forms. Let us start the tour with my favorite cultivar, the Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko. The Kiko cultivar is probably the most sought after cultivar of Astrophytum asterias. It is distinguished from the normal type by its rib variation, where horizontal furrows appear to interrupt the continuity of each rib. When viewed from above, this cultivar resembles a tortoise shell or Japanese samurai armor, which is why it is named Kiko. Over time, through continuous selective breeding, the Kiko cultivar has been further developed. In Thailand, different names have been used to describe the appearance of the tubercles, such as durian, shark's fin, and jester, as well as the descriptive terms for its fangs or the fang-like extra ribs part between the tubercles of some Kiko specimens. This is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko Goryo Fukurio nudum. I love this one because it combines the 3 cultivars that I like the most. I also prefer nudum varieties of Astrophytum since they look a lot cleaner, and you can easily see their form, like this one which has 5 round flat tubercles. I have another one like this with even rounder flat tubercles, but the root rotted. As someone who does not prefer grafted cacti, I did not have any available columnar grafting stock, so I used another Astrophytum asterias as a graft stock. Thankfully, the graft was successful and it is now stable and growing. Hopefully, in the future, I can cross-pollinate these 2 specimens and continue this Kiko line. Here are more of my Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko. As you can see, I collect different forms. Some have pointed tubercles while others are flat. There are those with angled tubercles while others are rounder. Some also have fluffier areoles. I aim to gather various Kiko characteristics so I can experiment and mix these traits, hoping to produce an even better Kiko. This is another Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko Goryo Fukurio, but it has a different form. The tubercles are angled and pointed, with some white specks on its body. The ribs are also arranged in a straight pattern. These protruding parts at the seams of each rib are what the Thai called fangs. These fangs add a unique characteristics to the Kiko, a small detail that enhances its overall appearance. These are some of my dichotomous Kikos, which means the 2 heads share a single root. This is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko Goryo nudum. It features round pointed tubercles which make it highly desirable. However, its flaw is that it starts to crack as it ages. Next, we have an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko lizard skin nudum forma cristata dichotoma. This is a crested dichotomous Astrophytum asterias with a unique form that resembles a brain. Beside it are Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko lizard skin specimens. They are known for their wrinkled lizard skin and some even have wart-like appearance. These cacti are often non-geometric and have a messy arrangement. Here is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko fucurionodum. This specimen has angled or squared flat tubercles arranged in a straight line, giving it a hexagonal shape when viewed from above. Its flat, symmetrical, and clean look make it one of my favorite Astrophytum. Here is a picture of this one when I first bought it. Who would have thought that such a small specimen will grow into a gorgeous symmetrical Kiko fucurio? This hobby reminds us that good things often take time and care. The next one is another flat form of Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko. This specimen has pointed tubercles, and the trichomes near the seams of each tubercle give it a unique appearance. Here is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko nodum forma prolifera. This Kiko has started producing pups in its apical growth, which is unusual for Astrophytum, especially for seed-grown specimens. Although it initially seems like the Kiko pup has many ribs, as it grows, the ribs begin to lessen and it starts to resemble its mother. This Kiko is another favorite of mine. It has round pointed tubercles with thick fluffy areoles. It also develops fangs between the ribs as it matures. When viewed from above, you will notice a pleasing rotation of the ribs. These characteristics make it a highly desirable specimen, definitely one of the best Kiko in my collection. The next Kiko is my very first one. While it might not look as impressive as my newer Kikos, it is still one of my favorite because it produced many seeds and seedlings that I was able to sell, which helped me afford more Astrophytum. I also have some smaller Kiko specimens that I am waiting to grow. Some of these show potential to become excellent breeder specimens. Here is a dichotomous Kiko with pointed tubercles. This one also has a nice form. Here are more Astrophytum asterias cultivar Kiko seedlings. Some of these seedlings will definitely be used as mother plants in the future. By the way, I actually just got back into collecting cacti in November 2023, after selling almost all of my Astrophytum collection in 2022. That is why you won't find some of the Astrophytum from my last collection tour video in this one. This is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Goryo fucurio purple skin. As the name suggests, the skin of this cultivar has a deep dark purple color. Here is another one. These are variegated Astrophytum asterias. This is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Goryo fucurio forma variegata. When I buy variegated specimens, I try to buy specimens with scattered variegation in all of their ribs. This is a star-shaped Astrophytum asterias. It is characterized by ribs that are concave toward the center, while the furrow lines between the ribs curve outward. This feature gives the specimen its unique starry appearance. I got this seedling from a well-known collector in Thailand. Just look at that top view. You can even place your finger in the center of its ribs. I cannot wait for this specimen to grow bigger. These are hybrids between Astrophytum asterias and Astrophytum capricorn. Compared to the typical Astrophytum asterias, this hybrid has sharper rib edges. The next cultivar is another favorite of mine, the Goryo cultivar. An Astrophytum asterias usually has 8 ribs, but through hybridization, some forms have fewer than 8 ribs. The form with 5 stable ribs is called Goryo. Go means 5 and Ryo means ribs. Occasionally, smaller Goryo specimens may develop additional ribs as they age, which is why larger Goryo specimens are more desirable. Although today, the Goryo genes are more stable. Some sources suggest that this cultivar might not be 100% Astrophytum asterias. There are claims that it could be a hybrid between Astrophytum asterias and either Astrophytum myriostigma or Astrophytum coaliense, both of which are known to have 5 ribs. However, this information is unconfirmed since the origin garden of this cultivar remains unknown. Most of my Goryo are also Fukoryu. Fu means repeat while Ryu means ribs. The cultivar Fukoryu is characterized by small extra ribs that develop on the lateral side, sandwiched between 2 true ribs. These additional ribs typically do not reach the cactus apex. It also doesn't have any areoles. This is an unusual Astrophytum asterias. If you look closely, there is a spike-like structure at the center of its ribs, where the areoles are located. This unique characteristic is the reason why I am closely monitoring this specimen. Here is a tri-headed Astrophytum asterias cultivar lizard skin. This is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar ruri with multiple heads. Ruri means nudum. I have grown this specimen from seeds. There hasn't been much growth in the past few years since I often forgot to repot it into a larger pot. The next Astrophytums are from the forma multicostatum. This specimen with 13 ribs is called Astrophytum asterias cultivar 13 ribs. The term multicostatum is derived from Latin, where multi means many and costatum means rib or rib. An Astrophytum asterias forma multicostatum refers to a form of Astrophytum asterias that has more ribs compared to the typical species. While the usual Astrophytum asterias has 8 ribs, a multicostatums differ by having a number of ribs that can range from 9 to 13. Now let us move on to my nudum varieties. Nudum simply means naked. The stem of nudum lacks the white tufts or trichomes that are typical of common Astrophytum asterias. This characteristic often appears in combination with other cultivars, and when this happens, the var nudum is sometimes changed to ruri. At first glance, these specimens may look similar, but if you take a closer look, you will notice that they have different forms and size of areoles. This specific one has fuzzier areoles compared to the others. This one is an owibo. Owibo means large warts and refers to the large areoles of this Astrophytum cultivar. This cultivar looks similar to the standard Astrophytum asterias, but the key difference is that owibo has very large and woolly areoles. If I remember correctly, the areoles should be more than 0.8 cm in size, although I might be wrong as I cannot find the original source from an article in Japan. Here is a comparison between an owibo cultivar and a standard Astrophytum asterias. Notice how small the areoles of the standard asterias are compared to the owibo. This specimen has areoles around 0.3 cm, whereas the owibo cultivar has areoles around 1 cm. And it seems like its areoles get bigger as it grows older. This specimen has a nice form. Its shapes make it look like it has some fit. I am keeping an eye on this one and I hope it will develop an even better form as it matures. Here is another star-shaped specimen. This specimen has lighter skin compared to the other Astrophytum asterias, which make it stand out from the rest of my collection. If you look closely, you will also notice that its ribs are slightly wavy. This one is also inodum, but it has a minimal areoles. At first glance, this specimen may look normal, but it is actually an Astrophytum asterias cultivar acabana. Acabana means bearing red flowers, referring to the shades of red in the flowers of this Astrophytum. I have a tray of these. Some are Shinshowa, which refers to the very fine petals that look like they were cut into shreds, while others are a combination of both types. Next are the variegated Astrophytum asterias. This is also a variegated Astrophytum asterias, known as jade variegation. If you look closely, it has hints of variegation along the furrow. This is a 6-rib fucoryu. Here is another Astrophytum asterias and Astrophytum capricorn hybrid. The next cultivar is Super Kabuto. Here is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Super Kabuto Goryo fucoryu. Super Kabuto is characterized by dense white speckles or trichomes that cover its skins and form different patterns or mosaics. Here are my other Super Kabuto. Some of them are a bit dirty since I haven't cleaned or repotted them in the past few years. I usually clean their specks when I repot. I use baby shampoo and a soft brush to gently clean them. Super Kabuto are also prone to cracking. You will notice that some of my Super Kabuto have cracks in their ribs. This one is a V-type. If you look carefully, the white flecks form a V pattern in the areoles. There are several V-type patterns developed in Thailand, including zebra, fly swings, bat swings, tiger, and more. Nowadays, the more desirable V-types are those that have no other specks apart from the V pattern, and those that have thick and symmetrical arranged V markings. Super Kabuto are also slow growers relative to the typical Astrophytum asterias and the nodum variety. This is because they are almost completely covered in white specks. Here is one that is almost entirely covered in white specks. I have been growing this one for 3 years. I bought it when it was about an inch in size, probably around 2 years old. It grows slowly compared to some of the nodum specimens which I bought at the same time. This one has a bat-shaped pattern. Its flowers is also a Shinshowa. This specimen has purple skin. Here is a flowering V-type specimen. Next, I will show you some of my Astrophytum from the Myristigma species. The first one is an Astrophytum Myristigma cultivar Kikonodum. It is characterized by pointed tubercles or notches along its ribs. These two are koyo. Koyo is a Japanese term meaning autumn leaves. This unique Japanese cultivar features colorful bodies ranging from bright yellow to red. Unlike variegated plants, this coloration is not permanent and occurs mainly near the stem tip and along the ribs, gradually turning dark green. The coloration is usually influenced by temperature and sunlight exposure. These are Astrophytum myristigma cultivar onzuka. They are characterized by snowy white, heavily speckled skin, with patterns that vary from specimens to specimen. Next, we have Astrophytum capricorn var crassispinum cultivar Tahyogyoko. These Astrophytum have long, flat, black to brown or grayish spines that are stronger, larger, and thicker than those of the common Astrophytum capricorn. The word Tahyogyoko means yellow buffalo spines. This is an Astrophytum capricorn subspecies senile. It features whitish to dark reddish-brown or black long flexible spines. This stem generally lacks white specks or trichomes. Here is a columnar form of Astrophytum myristigma cultivar Fukoryu. Next, we have an Astrophytum myristigma cultivar Kikonodum. This is actually one of the first cacti I ever owned. When I first bought it, it did not exhibit Kiko traits. These traits only began to show after a year under my care. This one is a multicostatum. While the usual number of ribs of an Astrophytum myristigma is 5, this specimen has more. Here we have an Astrophytum myristigma var quadricostatum nudum, another one of my first cacti. As the name suggests, quadricostatum means 4 ribs. Beside it is an Astrophytum myristigma cultivar Fukoryu nudum. There are 2 types of Fukoryu, and this one is type B, which exhibits many irregular warts between and on the rib surfaces. The more warts, the more desirable the Fukoryu is. Here are more Astrophytum myristigma specimens. I don't have many because I prefer the Astrophytum asteria species. These 3 are different varieties of Astrophytum myristigma. The one in the middle is the typical form, while the one on the left is a quadricostatum and the one on the right is a tricostatum. Next is an Astrophytum myristigma onzuka. I have had this for about 5 years, but it still hasn't flowered. This is an Astrophytum myristigma cultivar Kiko. This is the largest Astrophytum in my collection. It even started producing pups at one point. Although the pups may initially appear to have many ribs, as they age, they will eventually lose the extra ribs and resemble their mother. Here are some of my triple-head Astrophytum asterias. These specimens share a common root system. This one is an Hanaizumi, which means fountain of flowers. If you look closely, you will notice smaller areoles within its larger areoles. These are Astrophytum asterias cultivar Yamamoto. This line was bred and developed in Japan by Mr. Yamamoto. The distinctive feature of this cultivar is its size, which is larger than the general Astrophytum asterias. Yamamoto cultivars typically reaches a diameter of 10 to 12 inches. If you love big Astrophytum asterias, this line is perfect for you. Over time, this cultivar can also develop a star-shaped look. These are my Astrophytum asterias cultivar Super Kabuto V types. When taking care of Astrophytum, there are three important things to remember. First is to use a well-draining potting mix. A mix with at least 70% inorganic material and 30% organic material work best. Second, provide at least 6 to 8 hours of filtered sunlight. In the wild, Astrophytum asterias are often found buried in the ground or plant debris, with only the top part visible. Some are protected by shrubs and rocks. In cultivation, we do not want to hide their beauty, so adding a UV plastic sheet and a shade net helps protect them from intense sun exposure. Lastly, when watering Astrophytum, water them thoroughly until the water drains out of the bottom of the pot. Then wait until the potting mix is almost completely dry before watering again. This is another one of my first Astrophytum. As someone sentimental, I am happy I have managed to keep my first ever Astrophytums. Due to age, this one has some wrinkles at the bottom and has also started producing pups. This one badly needs repotting, but I always forget to move it into a wider pot. I love this one for its flat, wide shape and its fluffy areoles. Here is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Rensei. Rensei means chain of stars or areoles, referring to its closely spaced areoles that form unbroken lines from the base to the top. This distinctive characteristic typically becomes more prominent as the cactus reaches full maturity at a relatively old age. Here is another Rensei cultivar. When I bought this specimen, it only had large and fluffy areoles, but as it aged, the areoles began getting closer together. This one is an Astrophytum asterias cultivar Goryo Fukoryu Rensei. Here is a star-shaped variegated Astrophytum asterias. These two are flat star-shaped specimens. Here is another Rensei cultivar. These two are Astrophytum asterias cultivar Fukoryu nodum. Fukoryu is a Japanese term that describes a cactus with extra ribs or ridges. I love these two Fukoryu nodum, especially when viewed from the top. The symmetry is just beautiful. Which of these specimens do you like most? Share them below. As you can see, I mostly collect Astrophytum asterias, but I am now trying to expand into other species of Astrophytum along with their cultivars and varieties. And there you have it, a tour of my Astrophytum collection. From the stunning cultivars to the unique forms and characteristics of each specimen, I hope you enjoyed diving into the world of Astrophytum with me today. My passion and love for this incredible cacti runs deep, and I am always excited to share the beauty and variety of Astrophytum with everyone. Here is one thing, I can never have enough Astrophytum. I will always want more. My goal now is to collect more named cultivars and to buy different forms, shapes, and patterns that I can use for breeding. Hopefully, in the future, I can produce my own stunning cultivars. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more cactus tour and cactus care tips. Feel free to drop any questions or comments you have about these cacti, or if there's something specific you'd like to see in the future videos. I love hearing from you and engaging with our growing plant community. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy planting and I'll see you in the next video.